Why CS? We don't want positions.
So what do you want?
What we want is a working government. We want, what are you saying? And I say this, I've reflected upon this. If God gave me a second chance to live, there's something He wanted me to achieve. And I don't believe that which He wanted me to achieve is out of this movement. Yeah. It is just within.
Why are we not selecting a leader as Gen Zs?
The fact that on 25th of June, through the leadership of Gen Zs, Kenyans were able to take back their power basically means that all Gen Zs are leaders. Yes. Sometimes we elect people with very, very bad personalities. People who, if not for probably the money they give people for campaigns, and if not for their prowess in speech, then there's nothing else they can offer. And I think I am deeply convinced that William Ruto is that person whose personality is very bad, but he uses people with the money and the speech, his prowess in speech. That is all. Otherwise, really, I think it's time we also look at people's personalities, because it counts a lot. If in 2 years, this person has garnered 150 million worth of property or whatever, wealth, then it means the 500 and something he should have been able to get it in the last, let's say, at least 10 years, now that he was in a lower position, 10 years. What is this business that Kithure Kindiki now invested in that in 2 years, and I think a third of his total wealth? What business? There's no such business. And if there's such business, why was he not doing this business before he got into the CS position? For William Ruto, no, it's not possible. He's not someone to do such a good thing. Dealing with corruption, I think these are the sentiments he used to make before he got into power. In 100 days, I'll ensure that I've dealt with corruption and corrupt officials and all. Aren't these same people that he's appointing to cabinet secretary the same people we have been talking about to be corrupt? He's rewarding corrupt officials, actually. Instead of fighting them, he's rewarding them. Take, for example, Migori County. Migori County collects about 250 million per year. Only 250 million. But their budget is at 9 billion. Where are they going to get 8.75 billion to do their things? Si wanategea national government ilete budget, ilete pesa. Hiyo pesa inatoka wapi? That is why we are being taxed too much.
What's up, everybody? This is Kenya Online Media, your number one source of entertainment news, and my name is Eve Nyaga, and my guest right about now is none other than Joshua Okeyo, the president of Kenya School of Law. Now, he has had an eventful time, quite an unfortunate event that happened to him when he was abducted, but we just want to catch up with him, see how he's doing. Joshua, how are you?
I'm good, Eve. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you as well. So maybe you can just reintroduce yourself to the people.
What do I say?
Maybe some more details about what you do.
Yeah, my name is Joshua Okeyo. I lead the Kenya School of Law Student Governing Council as the president. And I am a lawyer training to be an advocate. So in a few months' time, I'll be an advocate, hopefully. And there are many other things I do outside law, which I don't think are very relevant for this.
You can talk about them. It's good to see, every other angle of you.
No, professionally, I'm everything in any.
However, Zote.
Oh my goodness. I am a PR and marketing enthusiast. So I have done that professionally. But currently, I'm doing it a little bit as I focus more on bugging this KSL thing. Yeah. And other things. I also do mentorship here and there. I do leadership elsewhere. Yeah.
So you're a leader, yani. Like you've been in a leadership position since kitambo.
Nataka nikupe CV.
Tupatie, unajua maybe Gen Z wanatafuta leader. You might be qualified.
Oh, really? Unajua nilikuwa naambia watu wengine before early in the morning that if probably I would talk about my CV, maybe the president would consider me for a CS position. And
A sales position? Well, which a CS position, Paul? Hey, nimesikia sales.
sasa sales naenda kusell government gani? Anyway, yeah. Of course, I was a class prefect from way back in class 1. So in class 6, I became the prefect in charge of language and debate. And then I became a deputy head boy, class 7, and then class 8, I became a head boy of a school I'm not going to talk about. It was a very funny name. And then I went to high school. I went to Miranda, by the way. And yeah,
We are sorry.
but I don't say. Anyway, yeah.
You just did. Come on.
I don't say. I went to Miranda. So in Miranda, I held several positions. Yeah, I was the founding chairperson of peer counseling club, peer counselors. And I was also at some point the chairman of Great Debaters Club. I also served as choir director and later on vice chair of YCS. Yeah, I also led in
Unajua una qualify pia for intercessors wale wa State House.
watu wa kuintercede pale State House pia hapo tunaweza ingia. Yeah, I also led in drama and many other things. Yes, and then during that time I was also part of the Kenya Children Assembly, which I was one of them. In the counties, we actually called ourselves ministers, county ministers, when I was part of the Kenya Children Assembly. So I was also part of KCA from way back class 7 to all through to Form 4. So I was leading and, championing children voices out there. We were particularly dealing with Article 53 of the Constitution. So Constitution ni kitu nilijua kutoka kitambo, especially Article 53. And then that was it. Then I went to University of Nairobi to pursue Bachelor of Laws. At the University of Nairobi, I went more into church, especially when I realized that there's a lecturer that tulikuwa tunagongana kila wakati. So every time I could vie, I could get myself to vie, and then they would disqualify me on some basis that don't really make sense. So I served as organizing secretary, Catholic Community Parklands, served as the chairman of that community. I served as the representative of National Movement of Catholic Students in Kenya. And then I served as the president of the National Movement of Catholic Students in Kenya. At that time, I was also sitting in a commission called the IMCS Jurist Commission. Yeah, and then after that, I proceeded to Kenya School of Law, where I am right now. So then Kenya School of Law, I got elected as the president of the Student Governing Council. So really, all my life, I have been leading people to do something. I've been leading people to achieve a certain goal. I've been leading people to pursue something. And it's something I am very humbled about, because not everyone gets elected, not everyone gets appointed. But then I thank God that here we are. So really, the leadership is something that has been part of me. Yeah.
Your CV kweli ni mzito. Very heavy and very detailed. Yeah, all right. So let's fast forward kidogo. So just the other day, you experienced something very traumatic. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing good except for my left arm. Yes, bado kuna tashwishi kidogo, but I'll be going back for some other checkup on Saturday. So on Saturday again, I'll be back to the hospital. I'm still doing checkups here and there, and we've not really found what's in my arm that's hurting my arm. Yeah. But anyway, I'm doing okay. I have attended a few sessions.
Counseling sessions.
Kidogo mi si mtu wa hizo vitu, but
I don't think ni kutaka mtu anatakanga kwenda.
I know, but if it's not for you, you really struggle. But I have tried.
So if not that, how else are you dealing with that trauma?
I don't know. I'm just keeping myself busy. Yeah, I'm just keeping myself engaged. Yeah.
The nightmares?
Still there. Yeah. Occasionally I get to wake up in the middle of the night. So quite a bit of that still happens to me. I'm still very, insecure and hata saa hii naangalia hivi naona ni kama kuna mtu amekuja na Subaru. Yeah.
Subaru ndio zinafanya ile maneno.
Kuna ingine
Kama ya bosi wetu.
haya, huyo hapa tumeona iko hapa. Niliingia hapa nikashtuka, lakini nikaambiwa nitulia. Yeah.
Nane, and it's been trending for the better part of last week, this week. Is this still a Gen Z movement?
Yes. Actually, I think that's a good question. Thank you, Eve, for that question. So many people have come, they have come ahead and said that, let's call it Gen Zote, let's call it whatever you call it. It's still a Gen Z movement. The Gen Z started the movement. All right? Let us give Gen Zs their credit. It was started by Gen Zs. If everyone else is coming in, you're just joining the movement as a friend of the movement. But really, the movement is a Gen Z movement. So, napenda all those words, those fancy words of Gen Zote and all other things. But this is a Gen Z movement. Some people just want to take advantage of the movement to say, this movement is for everyone. Where were you when the young people were starting the movement? Where were you? Okay? If you feel that the Gen Zs have an agenda and they are actually doing this for the benefit of the people of Kenya, and you want your name to be written on the right side of history, to be part of the movement, that history will say one day that, look, in 2024 we had these people that did this, this and that. Come in and support. Come in and, in the spirit of camaraderie. But don't come in trying to change the name and trying to make this look like you are all, it's all yours. Well, it's for everybody. But it's a Gen Z movement.
We remain with the original Gen Z movement.
The original Gen Z movement, because that is what sparked the nation. That is what sparked the entire world. That is what actually, brought Kenya to a standstill. So again, if
we set the pace for other countries as well.
We set like Bangladesh. Unaona Bangladesh walianza exam late na wakagraduate mbele yetu. Hiyo inatuuma sana. And we don't want to extend this anymore. We want to finish it. Ni kufinish kumalo. Mapema ndio best. Yes.
When we talk about Maandamano, I remember the very last time kulikuwa na Maandamano was on a Thursday. And I was in the streets, just covering and doing a lot of content. And whenever, the anti-riot police saw a group of 5 people, they tear gassed everyone. They were even chasing away the boda guys. They don't want people in groups. So do you feel like kesho watu watatokea, considering how the previous Maandamano, especially after the one where people made it to Parliament, do you think people will come out tomorrow? And keep in mind, we also have goons who have infiltrated the movement.
Wow. Let me tell you. Were it for tear gas or bullets or anything, live ammunition, then people would not have turned up on 25th of June. Because the police started behaving in that manner from way before. In fact, talk about last year, during before they formed the National Dialogue Committee, when I think the Azimio, the opposition, were agitating for inclusion into government and all that. They have been using tear gas. Now, when we started this movement, talk about 18th of June, the police used tear gas. They used bullets, all right? 20th, they did the same. People still turned up on 25th. Actually, 25th was even bigger. So, tomorrow, it doesn't really matter. And I love someone who came up with this song. There's a song that, sing the wondrous, I think something. But someone was singing that, tutaenda maandamano milele na milele, hata Ruto alete tear gas. It doesn't matter what is going to happen. The people of Kenya have said, it is enough. Enough is enough. And really, there's nothing we haven't seen. Some of us have been killed. Some of us were abducted, never been seen before. Never been seen after that. Some of us came out alive, and it's just, sheer luck. And some of us are nursing their wounds in hospitals currently. All right? We are not ready to let that go in vain. And that which our fellows, the fallen soldiers, wanted to achieve, we are fighting for them. And we would want them, wherever they are, to smile if that is possible, and at least be content that even in my grave, that which we started was finally achieved. That is what we want. I think the people of Kenya will turn up. They will turn up.
Are you sure? In big numbers. Kama ile ya 20. Was it 25th? Yes. Yeah. You know, when people are killed, do you think they will turn up in large numbers like they did on that day?
If we have been doing mobilizations venye ulisema for the past almost 2 weeks, all right? There's no group of people that we haven't talked to. We have talked to people on Spaces. We have talked to people who visit TikTok. And trust you me, so many people on TikTok. We have posted videos. We've seen feedback from those videos. We've had people travel from up country coming to Nairobi. And 2 days ago, we were receiving them in Nairobi. We have people who are on the ground and saying, Okeyo, I will be coming with 400. You know, a group of 400. We have people who are saying, look, I want to host 2, 3, 4 people, whom together we will go with to the streets on 8. The people of Kenya are going to turn up for Nane tomorrow. That's not a lie. Yes.
So we expect huge numbers.
We expect huge numbers. Huge numbers. Yes.
Hatujauziwa woga bado. Because someone talked about, you know, kuziwa woga. And watu wengine waliogopa, by the way. Because the previous protest hazikuwa na watu wengi compared to when the movement started.
Yeah, you know, again, not every protest can be the same. Tulianza kudevelop pale 18th, tukakuja kidogo, tukakuja Thursday, tulifikiria itakuwa kubwa the 20th, but tukasema we have not done enough mobilization. Let us take Thursday to Tuesday to mobilize. And that is why people turned up in large numbers on Tuesday. All right? The momentum kind of went down just a little bit. And we were also re-energizing ourselves to come back. After some of us were already injured, and now we needed to nurse our wounds and get better. I think most of us are now back strong on our feet, except a few, especially those with gun wounds, and are ready and willing to be up. The mobilization that has gone into this, the patriotism that has gone into this, the energy, the vigor, the zeal, man.
Someone might say, you know, maybe Gen Zs are being insensitive to the lives, to the families of those people who lost their lives. And I know you're speaking from someone who has experienced the other side of the police brutality, right? So kuna mtu mwenye anasema, you know, you're being insensitive, wacha tuachane na hii kitu. Let's just give the president time to act on the things that he has said.
You know that if for me, letting go because some people have been killed will be like saying, we tried, but then we found they are more powerful than us, so we retreated. In every revolution, there is no revolution that has, you know, that has no casualties. Every revolution has casualties, and this is one of those. We've had casualties. We don't want any more, and I pray tomorrow will be as peaceful as possible. I pray, and we've tried to implore the police and the defense forces to be on our side, because really we are fighting for everyone, including themselves. So we are not happy that we've lost some of us. But as I said before, we are continuing with the war because we know our friends were soldiers. Our friends were heroes. They are heroes. And that is why we will never let their spirit die. So us going stronger isn't being insensitive to their families, but is a way of even showing them that, look, we were together with your people. They are our friends. They are our people. And we're going to fight to ensure that that which they wanted to accomplish is accomplished. It's us being together with them. It's us fighting and achieving that which they wanted to achieve, but they never got to this date. It's us being, you know, just being together with them in that spirit. So really, and look, I love to quote this. Martin Luther King says that protest is the language of the unheard. It's simple. If someone doesn't listen to you, if you've not been heard, there's no other language like that a tyrant like William Ruto can hear apart from protest. And that's why when we did a little bit of kutingisha, he decided to at least bend and do the changes that he did. Of course, just deleting all the sections of the finance bill, the rejected finance bill, dismissing CSS that he has brought back, and we are angry. And of course, convincing the IG of police to resign. It's not like that person decided to resign. It's not a personal decision. No, it came from somewhere. So we know where it came from. Really, yes.
Are you not afraid, considering what happened? Like, you don't feel you had a near-death experience. Are you not afraid?
If God gave me a second chance, then He had a plan for me and with me. Probably, I am that one person he pointed and said, "Look, enda usaidie kumaliza hii kitu." So for me, and I say this, I've reflected upon this, if God gave me a second chance to live, there's something He wanted me to achieve. And I don't believe that which He wanted me to achieve is out of this movement. Yeah. It is just within. It is within. And I have a lot of conviction that this is the right thing to do. It doesn't really matter what happens. It doesn't really matter.
Your family, they're not telling you, Joshua, if we see you on the streets again, you'll be in trouble.
What trouble? What trouble? What trouble?
I'm just imagining, however, what my mom tells me. Ebu toka uko.
Haizi kukuua, anaweza kuua.
Haizi niua lakini.
I mean, if you have faced death before, the worst your family can say is to sort of tell you we disown you, just to tell you. They can't disown you. They'll just tell you we disown you for a moment. And then unaenda unakaa Nairobi kidogo, wanakumisi, wanakwambia, ai, akisi urudi nyumbani tu. Yeah. Exactly. So really, when I went home, they told me, stop. The government is bigger than you. And it's more powerful. And really, you can't fight this alone. I told them I'm not alone, number one. Number two, if there was anything else I was to do to the people I lead, because one thing they forget, that there's a group of people that I lead. I lead a group of young lawyers, intelligent lawyers at the Kenya School of Law. And there are other people with whom we have interacted in other sections of leadership. When I was at the IMCS, when I was at the University of Nairobi, so many people who look up to me. These people, maybe their inspiration to come up tomorrow is because they saw Okeyo posted something and said, look, Viva, we are marching on. How would it be then this person whom they look up to now decides to say, enough is enough, to hell with it, let me go back and settle and rest and just, I can't do that. I can't do that. At least if not for me, if not to satisfy my passion for a change, then let it be for those people who look up to me. Let it be for those people who are waiting to hear something from me to know how to go about this. Yeah. Let it be for those people that I lead. Yeah. Speaking
of leadership, I've sat in tables where, the older generation thinks that Gen Zs, patianeni mtu mwenye anaweza waongoza. You talk big game about being leaderless, tribeless, nini. But if you actually produce somebody and decided that this is the person who will speak for us, this is the person who will, pass our opinions on to you guys, why are we not selecting a leader as Gen Zs?
The fact that on 25th of June, through the leadership of Gen Zs, Kenyans were able to take back their power, basically means that all Gen Zs are leaders. Yes.
But we can't all be leaders. We need to pick someone who represents us, someone who...
Where? Represents us where? For what? Are we going to...
a young person who will sit in the CS, who will be a CS.
Where? Why? Why CS? We don't want positions.
So what do you want?
What we want is a working government. We want, what are you saying? What we want to see that the president is dealing with corruption, championing, the fight against corruption. All right? What we want to see is we want to see the president appointing cabinet secretaries based on their on what they're able to deliver, and not on their political affiliations, and not on the fact that they want to bring the opposition to government, all right, so that they can have a quote unquote broad-based government. For what? We don't want a broad-based government. We want an robust, effective, and efficient government that works, performs, and delivers to its people. That's all we want. All right?
Do you think that message is getting to the president? Siati, you don't want to have leadership positions. This is what you're fighting for. Do you think it's getting to him? Mama ni kuignore tu anaignore.
Bwana, that guy has all the information. Why is he talking about Nane Nane? I heard he was talking about Nane Nane the other time. See, he knows what is happening in the country. He's very aware. He knows. He has reporters. He has people who reports to him. They know. All right? He knows. He's just ignoring. He's just, as in Ruto, I think it also goes down to personality. Sometimes we elect people whose personalities are, let me talk about.
No, Matis are true.
Yeah, sometimes we elect people with very, very bad personalities. People who, if not for probably the money they give people for campaigns, and if not for their prowess in speech, then there's nothing else they can offer. And I am deeply convinced that William Ruto is that person whose personality is very bad, but he uses people with the money and the speech, his prowess in speech. That is all. Otherwise, really, I think it's time we also look at people's personalities, because it counts a lot to how you will lead people, to how you will rule a nation. Yeah.
So you talked about him firing his CSs and then bringing them back on board once again. And the vetting process has been going on. We've seen some who have qualified, and I think one or two who have not qualified. And during the vetting process, I remember everyone was required to talk about their net worth. And Kenyans have questions. Why is it that these people, what else do you need when you have a net worth of almost $1 billion, millions, okay, billions, billions, millions, let me just say billions and millions. Yeah. What else do they need? And how are they acquiring this wealth? So is that sparking the anger more?
Kwanza, when I heard that Kithure Kindiki, in a span of less than 2 years, he has been able to, to add onto his net worth about 150 million. Look, if Kithure Kindiki is 694 million net worth now, all right? And in 2022, I think October, he was at 540 something, 545, I think. Look, so if this person was at 545 and now he's at 695, if in 2 years this person has garnered 150 million worth of property or whatever, wealth, then it means the 500 and something he should have been able to get it in the last, let's say, at least 10 years, now that he was in a lower position, 10 years. What is this business that Kithure Kindiki now invested in that in 2 years, and I think a third of his total wealth? What business? There's no such business. And if there's such business, why was he not doing this business before he got into the CS position? Why didn't he? Because if you were into that business before, Kithure Kindiki would probably be in worth tens of billions. Yeah. But what happened that he was able to get 150 million in 2 years that he was not able to get before? So I think most of these monies are proceeds of crime. Most of these monies are proceeds of corruption, and that is what we must shun. Yeah. Look at someone. I don't know how much Joho was worth before and now. I think for him it's just a different case. All right. But all these people, all this net worth is very questionable. And what's even more funny is that the people who know them are saying that is not their real net worth. It's more. Yes. Yes.
So is Hizi ni zile tu za kusafisha.
Hizi ni zile tu mnaonyeshwa ndio hiyo. Ndio next time akuje tu aseme niliongeza kidogo. You know, they hide a lot, by the way. And we've shared platforms with people who have worked with these people, people who've been close to these people, and they know the property that these people own. They are saying it's more than what they are disclosing. They are disclosing less. So these are proceeds of crime, these are proceeds of corruption, and we must say it as it is. We must shun that. Apart from that, look at how the interviewers were carrying themselves. And look, only one action is able to speak for the whole process. Look at Junet Mohammed, prompting Weekly for Paranya on what to say or on the answer to give. You understand? That video was everywhere. Yeah. Look, if that is just one instance that was captured, how many more instances did we have that were not captured? All right? And how do we know that these people had actually not met the vetting committee before?
Yeah. Oh.
All right? It speaks to impunity. Every wrong thing is being done and they go unpunished. They go unpunished. That is why these things continue, and that is why we are fighting. So this whole process was flawed. From the word go, ab initio, it was flawed. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing that is going to convince us otherwise. Yeah.
So I was with a guy by the name Morara Kebaso the other day, and he talked about the president cleaning up everything, and he said that it might take him 2 years to do away with corruption. Do you think that is possible? Can he remain the president and make sure that whatever Gen Zs are fighting for, good governance, corruption, don't put leaders in positions that have issues of graft? Is it possible?
No.
It's not possible?
No. I disagree with my friend Kebaso. Yeah, it's not possible. If we had another president, maybe. For William Ruto, no, it's not possible. He's not someone to do such a good thing. Yeah.
He's not someone to do such a good thing.
He's not someone to do such a good thing. Dealing with corruption, I think these are the sentiments he used to make before he got into power. In 100 days, I'll ensure that I've dealt with corruption and corrupt officials and all. Aren't these same people that he's appointing to cabinet secretary the same people we have been talking about to be corrupt? Yeah. He's rewarding corrupt officials, actually. Instead of fighting them, he's rewarding them. He's going against any directly opposite of what he was saying before. So, William Ruto, as a person, no.
So who else can do it?
What do you mean who else can do it?
Who else can do it?
We have very many good leaders out here. I'm not gonna campaign for anyone. Because look, maybe I might say this and someone would think that is the correct position. Yeah. I'm not gonna say that. And what I would want to say is that we have very many good leaders who have shown that they are capable of fighting corruption, who have shown that they are capable of remaining and standing with the people of Kenya, no matter what is happening. We have good leaders who have shown that leaders can actually respect the rule of law, all right? And things will happen. We have them. Let Kenyans identify such people. And should such people present themselves for election the next time an election is done, which might be in 2027 or before, let Kenyans identify these good people and vote for them. It doesn't matter. Hata kama ni Gen Z, na sisi tumeona huyu mtu ni mtu mzuri, na akona track record, na ni mtu akona uongozi mzuri, peni yeye kura.
Again, I'll take you back on the conversation that we had with Kebaso. He talked about corruption inaanza kwa grassroots. So, from the very beginning, from the time we are conducting elections, Mali, watu wanabuy, party tickets in the parties. That is where, because now you see as a leader, you need to favor this person because they helped you here. So it's a game of nisaidie, nimekusaidia, nilikusaidia hapa, ukanisaidia pale. That is what is done. So even if you are a good a leader with integrity, a good track record, hata ukiingia tu kwa hii system, you'll still be compromised.
Let me tell you, if we had someone at the top who is no nonsense and who says, look, we are going to deal with corruption and this is the plan. Everyone who has not a president is a very powerful person. And you are able to deal with some of these things. I mean, we can have people being prosecuted and found guilty. All right? If it is a matter of finding evidence, Bwana, there is no evidence that the state cannot find. There is no evidence that the state cannot. Yes.
If they found you, they found every other person they abducted.
Exactly. Sasa corruption ndio watashindwa kupata evidence. These people are just joking with us. The government has the capabilities to find every evidence. All right? To sentence these corrupt individuals, but they are not making even a single inch of effort to do that, to find the evidence and to actually, I think the prosecutors who are dealing with corruption cases should be the first people to, as in they should be given, when we start the fight against corruption, prosecutors prosecuting corruption cases, all right, should be held so highly, and should there's a lot of vetting that should go into that to ensure that we have the best of the best, all right, who are going to prosecute cases. We should ensure that we have good personnel who are going into investigation, who are going into finding evidence and all that kind of stuff. The state has all the resources and the ability to do that. They are not doing that. Sawa. So really, at the end of the day, the short and long of it is that William Ruto is not capable of fighting corruption. He's not. Yeah, we'd rather find someone else.
So, is protesting the only way we can get him to listen? And what will he do to, what do we call it? Something of good faith, an action of good faith to show us that, okay, I'm listening to you guys. This is what I plan to do. And si maneno peke yake, ni kusema na kutenda. What can he do?
What can he do? Number one, several cases that were withdrawn, especially cases involving people who are in government now, we should see those cases proceed. We should see people being prosecuted in courts. We should see litigation going on in our courts. And we should see Kina Rigathi Gachagua walking into courts for that 200 million case that was withdrawn in 2022. All right? That is just an example. We have so many other people who've had cases and now they're being withdrawn because they've been part of government. We should have people being investigated. Even Oparanya, whom myself I think is a performer, if kama kuna mali ameguzwa na kauchafu kidogo, let EACC do that investigation. All right? Let us bring back all the cases that were withdrawn because they were involving people related to president. Number two, I mean that would be him trying to, or showing us that he's dealing with corruption. That is number one. Number two, all these lands that are not clear really whether or not they belong to him specifically, he should come clean and clear the airwaves and tell us this is this and this is this and this is a proof. And we should have people who are claiming ownership of such lands come into agreement and saying, enyewe, this is his and this is not his. We should be able to resolve that. Number three, we want to see and we want the president to assure us that the executive is not bulldozing the parliament, or rather the legislature. We have three independent arms of government.
Are they really that independent?
I've said independent arms of government. Let them be so. Let them be independent. We don't want a parliament that is being controlled by the executive. And we can see. And some of them actually come and say, I was paid 2 million to go and vote yes for finance bill. You understand? We want that MPs, even those who are in UDA, are able to stand and call out the president and say this decision was not the best. All right. At that point, we will know and we will have faith in our legislature. Another thing, we want the president to start making appointments not on the basis of fulfilling political promises. All right? But to appoint people because these are people who actually are able to do the job. And of course, in line with the Constitution. Constitution says that in every appointment there must be balance in terms of gender and regional balance. That is actually allowed in the Constitution. So him appointing someone from Luoland, Kisii, Central and wherever, that is good. But let it not be and appear like you're just paying political debts. We are not here to pay political debts. That is past us. We are here for delivery. We are here for service to people. And we are here to see that the hard-working Kenyans, their efforts are actually, their efforts reflect on the economy of the country. Because people are working so hard, but so much more is taken from them that their hard work really goes for nothing. They feel like, look, I'm working but for nothing. We also want to see the economy thrive. The economy is very capable of thriving. But the problem is one. We are spending much more than we are collecting. Take, for example, Migori County. Migori County collects about 250 million per year. Only 250 million. But their budget is at 9 billion. Where are they going to get 8.75 billion to do their things? Si wanategea national government ilete budget, ilete pesa. Hiyo pesa inatoka wapi? That is why we are being taxed too much. Tax at the county government, county level, tax at the national level. So you find that the people of Migori, and I even doubt what they are only, they are only telling us that which they think or they feel, that which they've controlled and said this is what we should tell them. I don't think the money that is collected in Migori County is only 250 million. There's more. But there's a lot of pilferage. All right? Yeah. The county government is not taking care of the system of collection. And they're not ensuring that, look, we have airtight policies to ensure that we collect, and that which we collect is what reflects, all right, on our books of accounts. So you find that they collect so much that is not accounted for. That just the little is accounted for. Now, this little, they are telling us about the little because they expect much more to trickle from the national government to come and get into the money.
And that's just one county. We have 46 more.
8.75 billion for one county. Imagine 46 more counties. And there are counties that have bigger budgets than Migori County. We are losing a lot of money. Almost 60% of the money that is collected goes to salaries and allowances. Salaries and allowances. Let me give you an example again of Migori County.
Nataka kukasirisha watu zaidi. Let's
talk. Let's dig into the facts. Migori County, and I have to give credit to my friend Boni Mwangi. No, not the Boniface Mwangi. There's another Boni Mwangi. Yes. Who has done the Lord's work and brought us even screenshots of the books of accounts, budgets and everything. In Migori County, and I love to say this because I am not from Migori, but at least I am close to Migori. So if the Migori people want to fight me, they should come and fight me. The MCA's salary for a month is 100,000. Do you know how much the sitting allowance for MCA's is? 124,000.
More than the salary.
More than the salary. But we have not talked about hardship allowance. So hardship gani ko Migori? We have not talked about responsibility allowance. Imagine someone is being paid responsibility allowance. For what? Is being an MCA not your job and not your responsibility? You have to be paid an allowance to be that which you've been elected to be, that which you presented yourself to be elected to be. All right? As in, there's a lot of jokes going on in our counties. Travel. All right? Yeah. They spent about 890 million per year on local travels.
Local travel. Only
890 million.
What about international travel?
No, international travel was little. I think about 32 point something million. Okay? So Migori County spends about 15 million per MP in a year. 15.7 million per MCA in a year. How much is that for 38 MCs? I think they're 38, if I'm not wrong. How much is that? It has squandered almost 60% of the budget. Now, what is left to go into development is what? 40%. Now, this 40%, again, the numbers the numbers are enlarged. Something that costs 10 million, they go and say is 40 million. Now they take 30 million. All right? at the end of the day, what goes into development and into improving, I don't know whether they're improving the lives and livelihoods of their people, is about 15%. The rest, you don't know where it goes. We have lost almost 85% from that county since 2013. Because that was the first time we had the devolved government being elected. 2013 to date, 11 years now, all right? 11 years, every year, you are losing 85% of the 9 billion. How much is that? Let's talk about 8 billion. What goes into development is 1 billion. Now, 8 billion every year for 11 years. That is 88 billion.
That's why these net words, they're reading millions and millions.
There you have the answer. Yes.
So this again boils down to corruption and having a leader who is very strict with correct systems working correctly.
Absolutely my point. We have to get someone who's obsessed, right, with performance. Someone who's obsessed with working systems. Someone who's obsessed with the rule of law. Someone who's obsessed with justice. That is the kind of person we want. And we actually do not lack such people in Kenya. We have them.
It doesn't have to be a Gen Z.
It doesn't have to be a Gen Z. Let us identify someone who can work for Kenya and let's give them the baton to work for Kenya.
So I want us to wind up. So maybe you can just have some closing remarks as we prepare for tomorrow.
The book of Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. Have I not commanded you to be strong and of good faith? I can't quote the whole verse, but it speaks to God commanding Joshua, who was leading the Israelites at some point after Moses, that go ye forth. You are able. Just don't give up because you're facing a lot of challenges. Friends, let us go forth. Let us not back down because you're facing challenges. They are bound to be there. They are bound to happen. But that which I have seen, and that which probably some of you have seen, is that we are capable of bringing an overhaul in this government. We have the power in our hands, and really, protest is the language of the unheard. We are pursuing a just cause. Let us go forth, march, protest, picket, petition authorities, because we have been granted that right by the Constitution of Kenya 2010. We are fighting, we are pursuing a just cause, and always, when the cause is just, conquer we must.
Thank you, Joshua, so much for your time.
Thanks, Eve. Thanks for hosting me. Thanks for having me. It's lovely to speak to you.
So it is to you. Yeah, and we hope to see you again. Yeah, karibu sana Kenya Online Media.
I am very available. Yes. Thank you.
So, guys, you have heard from Joshua. Keep it Kenya Online Media for more.